After we're cutting it off, I'll start it off with a happy dollar for a wonderful, wonderful golf tournament. Played well. Our team came in last, as usual, but we didn't care. We had a great time. Anybody with any happy dollars? Holy mackerel! I can't. Larry. Oh, let's go with Lion Dwayne.
I've got a report on my brother and seeing down here in Legacy Hospital down in Vancouver, Salmon Creek. Initially, the surgery seemed to do well. It was right on the back of his neck, and they ended up finding 2 tumors. Anyway, they took them out, and the doctor called me after a while and said the surgery went well. He's been in the hospital ever since, and I contacted them yesterday to see about bringing him home, and they didn't think that was a good idea. Apparently he's having some memory problems, and they want to have him go to a nursing home for a while. And all the nursing homes around Longview are full. In the newspaper here lately, it was saying that Park Royal was shutting down, so that's about 35 patients that they need to move. And so the closest one that they could find was Woodland. So he hasn't moved yet, but I'm anticipating that we'll be moving him to the Woodland Nursing Home.
Thank you, Dwayne. We're back in the back. We'll go with Lion Mike.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, I've got a very happy dollar. Thanks to the efforts of 2 Lions, I now have a scooter. And those Lions are Dwayne Smith and TDS Firth. Thank you very much.
Lion Maria. Mara.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, I have one happy dollar. I have a sad happy dollar. I had a friend of mine, neighbor, pass away a couple of weeks ago after a 2-week-old cancer. But she's no longer in pain, which makes me happy.
Good. Sorry about that. Hey, Patrick.
What?
Past President Patrick.
Thank you very much, Steve. Lion, Steve. President Leroy, fellow Lions guests, how's everybody? Hey, life's pretty good here. I got to golf with the Torsen twins on Saturday. You know, Gene and Aaron.
Look bad?
Huh?
You make them look bad?
Just by standing next to him, Jim. That's what I have in common with you. That's one of the things that you and I can share every day. Yeah, you betcha. But, so here's the way it goes. This is Pat's golf story of the day, right? First hole, Eric drives it 303 miles or something like that, right? Somebody else chips it onto the green. We got a 40-foot putt. The other guys all putt and miss, and I drain it from 40 feet. That was the best part of my day.
The only good part of your day, wasn't it? Okay, moving right along past the zone chair. And wonderful. No, just past the zone chair. George.
King Lion Leroy, fellow Lions and guests. Last Saturday I had the opportunity to go up to Bellingham. My brother has a party once a year. He had 400 people there Saturday, and it was wonderful. I had a great time.
Past President Michael.
Well, they make shirts without holes. Hey, my wife, she throws them away. I love them. President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, big deal today. Laura Toll's here. Second happy buck. We're house sitting for the daughter out in the country and whatever, and they got chickens, and I've been picking up eggs and everything, and I know the old lingo now is They fell in love. Hey, do they have any big
athletes out there?
Past District Governor Mark.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, dollar number one is that despite appearances to the contrary, my wife is older than I am, and we went through the process of signing up for Medicare last week, so next year I get that privilege. Second dollar, seeing Laura here is great to see, and reminds me how much I appreciate my Lions family. Thank you all.
Past Zone Chair Steve Johnston.
President Leroy, fellow Lions guest, got a happy dollar for my wife. She made it through that golf tournament with Patterson and Cindy, and he didn't damn twist. And she's feeling great.
She carried the team, by the way. Well, you're getting it. Past Zone Chair Greg.
President Leroy, fellow Lions guests. Those of you who remember Don Brady passed away about, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago. You saw his wife Sunday. We had sent her a card, you know, wishing the family best. And she was very, very appreciative of it. And she said, say hi to those that remember her.
Immediate past president and no, I can't. Ken.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, two happy dollars. The first one, Terry Woodruff did an outstanding job along with Jim Nickerson for our golf tournament this past weekend. It was terrific. The second happy dollar, I am so thrilled to be able to sit with my lovely wife, the love of my life, during a club meeting.
We're doing kind of beauty before, you know what I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Treasurer Dolly.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, just a happy dollar. Yeah, whatever. I'm so busy going stuff. Last week is our busiest week at work, plus of course for the 4th of July and everything for the Lions. So it all ended up being great. Doug's in uniform. Sorry you can't be here.
That's why it's so quiet.
Now,
We're still being ignored.
yeah, don't mess with the big dog, you know how that goes. Here's the love of my life, past Zone Chair Maryland.
Oh, man!
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests. First, I have a happy dollar for the golf tournament, and the best part about that was that I didn't golf. I had the day to myself. Wow. The other dollar, I'm sorry to say, I've already forgotten what it was for.
Here we go. Lion Ron.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, a very happy belated dollar. I had a chance to take Larry and Kathleen Dewson out on my sailboat 2 weeks ago. Hadn't been away from the dock for a year, so they looked at it and said, let's wash the boat first. So they rolled up their sleeves, got out the hose, and just scrubbed it down, and went out up to Nisqually Flats and came back on the boat. So it was just a great Sunday. Thank you.
Ambitious couple you are. Holy cow.
I have a boat, so.
Lion Bill.
King Lion or Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, there's a saying among boat owners, the happiest day is almost when you buy the boat, but the best day of your life is when you sell the boat. Okay, I bought a smart car. Guess how smart I am?
You sold it.
I sold it already.
Past Zone Chair Gary.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, this is a mixed reaction, or you determine what it is. Recently found out that I have whiplash, so I've been going to former Lion Dr. Darren Bowlby, and he's trying to straighten me out. But while I was in treatment this morning, Ron was having a treatment as well. So,
When are you buying a boat, Gary?
It's the boat thing.
I got a dinghy.
Ask District Governor Jim.
King Lion Leroy. Lovely tail twister. Steve, fellow Lions and guests, I've got a happy dollar because some 40 years ago I was in the Lions Club and I was fortunate enough to be the president. And there was a young man in our club, he looked like he was 12 years old. And I asked him if he would replace Arnie Peterson as Secretary Treasurer, and he said he thought he could do it. And once again, this weekend, he proved what a leader he is and how efficient well, let's don't use the word efficient, but how great a lion he is. That was Terry Woodruff, and he did a great job.
Okay. Past zone chair and chair of the golf tournament, wonderful golf tournament. Yeah, Jim you carried him really well. Terry.
King Lion Leroy, fellow Lions and guests. Thank you for the kind words for the tournament. Of course, they don't get done without a lot of people helping out. Kevin did a great job over there at the par 3 challenge and with the insurance for it. The guys that did come and play golf, that was great. EGT, which is related to Johnston somehow, took the big money from my ringers and me. Yeah.
Your grandson got
Yeah, the grandson took money and you still went home with Lily, and that was great. And second place was a guy that complained about losing to me last year, so Mike Casanova, his team came in second. Anyway, I enjoyed doing it again. I don't know if I'll do it again, but Jim was a big help also. Skip was he's okay. But anyway, thank you for all the good things.
More years.
Lion Skip.
I need 4 more birdies. President Leroy. Fellow Lions and guests, I have $2. One, melancholy dollar, I guess. I wanted to play in the golf tournament, but found out on Wednesday that we were inheriting our grandsons for the weekend, and my wife was doing the STP, which left me at home with 2 kids, 7 and 11. I said, well, I'll get a babysitter. No, you won't. Then I'm not going to play in the golf tournament. That's correct. So I got that one right. But we did go out. The kids had never been in a thing. We hit 3.5 buckets of balls. I was exhausted watching them because each time, watch me, and I'm like, just hit the damn thing. And then we played 10 holes on the 3-par course, and they each got a bogey naturally, which I was impressed. But so now every time they come down, they want to go to your house. So Jeff, get ready. Second dollar, real fast. I got the privilege of watching one of the true legends of comedy perform his last, whatever you would call it, performance. Gallagher in the Tri-Cities. And thank God I bought the poncho clear plastic thing, because we were from here to one from him. And the first one was ravioli and cottage cheese, and when he hit that, I mean, the stuff splattering on the plastic. It was quite exciting.
Wow. Larry, was that the program?
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, this is a happy dollar for Jim Reineke. I met Jim when he first came here from that state with funny accents, Minnesota. Was it Minnesota or Texas? Yeah. But it's nice to have another Lion that has nostalgia about things that a lot of people consider history, you know?
Lion Walt, I see a stray dollar in front of your.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, I have a little bit of a mixed dollar. Since we've changed presidents, I kind of missed the screen with all of the club information on it each week, but I wonder if in the interim, that maybe each week we could pull the screen down and put a full screen photo of the immediate past president.
Would a dark work just as well?
Why in heaven's name would we want to do that? I believe that may be it. Leroy, okay, head table, a little light today. You might, hold on.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, I have a couple of dollars. One's I'm not sure.
Oh no.
I'll take up a collection.
Walt just met his 5th requirement.
Again? All right, my first dollar is, I have my eyes dilated this morning, and Marnie told me it's going to take me all day to get them back, and so I hope everybody's doing well. And that's why I was late. But the other one is today is mine and Steve's 25th anniversary. I know it doesn't stand up to any of you guys, but it's a big deal for us.
Congratulations.
Hey, George.
Leroy?
And, hey, my microphone's not on here. Thanks a lot, Tell Tamers, whatever. Are we working? No. Hey, now we are. Okay. And thank you, Tail Twisters. If you guys hadn't noticed, we do have a new tail twister joining the group, and that's Marlene. So welcome, Marlene. So you can give Steve, Marlene, and Kelly all the harassment you like, and they'll find you for it. Yes. That hurts. Every time. Yeah. Invocation today will be given by past President John Claypool. That's hot.
Father, we again stand before you in thanksgiving for your blessings. We're thankful for being Lions. We're thankful for being able to help our community through our service, whether the concession wagons, other projects. I ask you to watch over this club this year. Help us to do what the community needs the most, to help the people that need the most help. We ask you to bless this food to us and us in your service, and we give you the praise. Amen. Amen.
Pledge to be led by Mike Parker. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And song will be led by past his own chair, Marilyn Patterson. Country is of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Thank you. And this microphone's really hot, so I'll try not to blast your ears out. What? Yeah, right. Do we have any introduction of guests? We have no guest. Well, let's do better next week. Let's have some guests. Okay. Got some announcements. We're going to start off with Lion Bob. Can you give us an announcement about the concessions? Huh? You? Sure.
So short, I couldn't see you. Stop that, Nick.
President Leroy, members and no guests. We had all kinds of events going on. We had the golf tournament, we had kettle corn at Kalama Fair, and then we had the concert at the lake. Kalama, we did $1,100 in 3 days with just kettle corn and a few bottles of water. And at the concert at the lake, we were about 3,500 in sales. We thank you for the help. We've got sign-ups over here for the concert this Thursday. I probably should have brought the fair, but we didn't think about it. No meeting last week. Things were all messed up. But the fair does start next Wednesday. So we're going to take the sign-up sheet to the lake this Thursday night and get that started. And then we'll make a few phone calls. And then next Tuesday, we'll have to really finalize it and get it ready to go for the fair. Write my cell number down if you want to text and do a request for the fair, 360-355-4575. You send me a text, I'll see if I can get you on the schedule before we open it up. So, thank you.
Thanks. Bob, what was your number again?
355-4575. And I will get back to you, I promise.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Let's see here. How about we go, hey Steve, since you're right there with the microphone, why don't you go ahead?
President Leroy, Lions, and no, Laura, you're not a guest. Great to have you here. Great to have Laura Toll making her annual visit. Orientation, we need an orientation, so we're going to schedule one for Wednesday the 31st, I believe, 6 o'clock at our shop on 30th Avenue. So if you're a red badge and you need your orientation, end of the month, the 31st, Wednesday, 6 o'clock at the shop. That's it.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have Louis. Pick it. My notes are really all over the place.
President Leroy, fellow members, and Thursday guests, welcome. I wanted to bring you up on the vision screening. So far I have got $5,500. I'm looking for more donations. And by the way, we went to the chamber, had a visitation over at the eye clinic over there by Fred Lee. And I talked to the eye doctor there, and he said that was one of the best machines we could get. So he said I'm on the right track. He said he really likes the reports that prints off. So I'm still working on it. 4,500. Yep.
Thank you, Louis.
Thanks, Louis. Before we go on, this will give you a chance to we reintroduce the mystery handshaker. And if you fail to shake the hand of past zone chair Marilyn, it's going to cost you a quarter. Okay, so Leroy, any other?
Yeah, got more. Right next to you, Steve, Cindy. Zone chair Cindy's got an announcement.
Zone chair Cindy. I thought you were passing in a quarter.
Marilyn did shake my hand. Thank you, Marilyn. Okay. Members, guests, and Leroy.
Thank you. Unforgettable, I know.
It's been a busy week. What can I say? I had my grandchildren for 3 days. It's probably going to cost me $1. I'll owe it to you. But 3 kids, 3 days, don't do it. Tracy, one-nighters from now on. Grandchildren? Yeah. Get that boy on track. Okay, we have a visitation. It goes along with orientation and new members. It's this Friday, July 19th. We'll leave here at 10:30 to go to Vancouver. It's the Fort Vancouver meeting. Their meeting is at Heather Brewing. It's on Washington Street in Vancouver. So any of those who'd like to go. Heathen?
Heathen. Heathen.
Why did I bring this? Okay. Be heathen. They did give it the right address. So, if you want to sign up for it, Louie and I are already on there with our phone numbers, so you can give us a call if you want to come at the last minute, or just show up, but kind of give me a call, let me know you're coming, so I can let them know you're coming. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Membership Chair Greg Firth, do you have anything? Nothing? Okay. Then I think next up will be First VP Marlene.
President Leroy Hansen. I have a request, and you're going to think it's funny, but we need empty wine bottles and empty whiskey bottles for our bazaars that we have in November and December to raise money for Relay. So if you have any, please bring them. Instead of just throwing them in the garbage, bring them because we need them. Also, Relay is coming up, Relay Flag is coming up. If you want a luminaria bag to decorate yourself or to have me make one for you for a survivor or somebody who's passed away because of cancer, I will bring some next week, or just let me know so I can start making them, because Relay's in the 10th of August, so it's coming up in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. And
On the bottle, plastic or?
No, it's gotta be glass.
Just glass?
Just glass.
there's
Carla?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whiskey, rum, any type of booze bottles, as long as they're glass. Yeah.
And our next announcement will be by our secretary, Phil Olson.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, Cindy mentioned the visitation down to Vancouver. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I have had some paraphernalia from the Monticello Lions sitting in my garage for about 2 years because they won't come claim it. So I'm going to get rid of it tomorrow night at their meeting. Mary Kennelly, new member, and Kathy, her sponsor, are going to go. And so if any of you would like to join us, it's tomorrow night at the Carriage, 6 p.m.
Thank you. Any other announcements from anybody? Oh, Treasure. Where are you going?
Oh, fine, Kathy.
Okay. I didn't see her hand.
You probably run the meeting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm short too. I just want to remind everybody that we have the sock hop coming up very, very soon, President Leroy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you. What's your name again? But if you need clothing or anything to do with the sock hop, you could go see Kelly at Rented, and she will definitely try to get you suited up to go.
So what's this year's theme?
What's the theme?
The sock hop. So bring your socks. Kelly, let's set you up with your socks. Okay, next would be Secretary Treasurer, Secretary Treasurer. Dolly. We're so formal and organized now. Sorry, Ken.
President Leroy, fellow Lions. I heard a rumor that the tail twisters may fine you next week if you don't have your membership card. If you've paid your dues, but then you don't have one, you better come see me.
That's a good thought.
All right. Okay. Seeing no other hands up, anybody going once? That's it. Our guest speaker today is going to be, I'll go ahead and introduce him, is a fellow Lion. He's also the speaker chair, but he's going to give us a talk, I guess. So, anyway, Larry Hansen.
Yeah, you're going to get stuck with me today. I did have a guest speaker today, for your information. A gentleman, I think it's on, isn't it? A gentleman from Vancouver who has suffered with PKD for a number of years, a good friend of mine. He recently got a kidney transplant about 1.5 years ago and has been doing really well on it. The last week he went to the doctor and they diagnosed with him with an aneurysm, so he wasn't able to make it today. His name is Rob Herman, so I'd ask you to keep in your thoughts and prayers, please. He also has a young daughter, about 7 years old, who's also has the same condition. We're looking forward to the same thing. But I thought it'd be a good program. I hope we can hear maybe in the future one that everyone could be informed a little bit about and know a little more about. Not as common as cancer, but people do have it. So in that vein, I'm going to be talking about the healthcare market a little bit. Since I last gave the talk, there's been a number of changes. So I thought it'd be good to just kind of cover the train again. Issues are getting into new stages of life. Things happen. But the market is not a simple thing. It's multifaceted. So you have your group market, which a lot of people are still covered under, which has not changed a whole lot in the years in terms of eligibility what's there. Of course, the plans have changed because the laws keep changing. And we have what we call the Affordable Care Act, or what a lot of people call Obamacare, which affected the market and will have to be included in those plans, be considered credible care. And then you have the individual market, which has changed quite a bit. We no longer have the numerous providers available for us to choose from. In many counties, they get a choice of one provider and that's it. Well, I should say two, because you got Washington Apple Health, which is called Medicaid, and a qualified health plan. For Washington Apple Health, you have to be low income, what you call poverty level, up to about 150 to 170% of, about 150% of the federal poverty level. You qualify for some levels of Apple Health. You would definitely qualify if you have children to have children on that care. The adults usually will end up at that level starting to go into the qualified health plan. Below that, the whole family ends up on Washington Apple Health. The qualified health plans, of course, is where you get to the tax subsidies, which is often looked at as the affordable part of the Act. And there you can get some subsidy up to about 200% of the federal poverty level. And the subsidies are based on your income taxes. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that means you have to file an income tax, whether you have an income to pay a tax on or not, or you lose your subsidy. I see a lot of people get caught and lose their coverage because they don't file an income tax. So that's just a highlight and an awareness thing. The qualified health plans, in the case of where we're at in Cowlitz County, you have a choice this year of Premier Blue Cross or Kaiser. That's it. If you're in Wahkiakum County, you got a choice of Premier Blue Cross. That's it. If you happen to be lucky in Clark County, then you've got 3 or 4 choices. Same is true within Seattle or the Puget Sound area, where you've got large population areas. You tend to get more choices in terms of carriers. Now, in terms of choices of plans, I kind of snicker a little bit myself because state usually says we have a choice of 22 plans or 24 plans or something like that. But when you look at the choices, I'd say there's probably really only about 6 choices out of that. You've got the bronze, you've got a silver, and you've got gold. That's the 3 levels of choices that you got. Now, if in that, they say there's additional choices, because in the case of bronze, you can have HSA qualified plans or non-HSA qualified plans. In some cases, some plans, some areas, they have also a silver HSA or non-HSA plan. Now, one of the interesting things about the Affordable Care Act and the plans is the silver plans and the pricing on them determine the subsidy and pricing on all the plans. The subsidy levels are always based upon the affordability of a silver plan to a group or to an individual or family. So in some cases, if you're not getting a subsidy, you can actually buy a gold plan for $1 or $2 more than a silver plan and have a lot better benefits because of the way the pricing is structured. Many people, because they shop on a premium only basis, will go to the bronze plans. The catch is bronze plans all have a high deductible of somewhere around $5,500 or above. In most cases, that means very little is covered until you get to that point, including your prescription drugs. Now, all of the plans, because of the Affordable Care Act, have to cover preventative care, no matter what level you're at. That's one of the mandates. And that includes colonoscopies, your immunizations, a number of things of that nature. If you look at the silver plans, where the subsidies are based upon, a qualified plan with a moderate, say 150% of the federal poverty level, that silver plan, which normally has a $3,000 deductible and a copay of $30 on an office call. If you're at that subsidy level, you'll actually get the plan with a $500 deductible and a $5 copay. And that's where you hear a lot of the discussion about with insurance companies complain because the federal government initially, when they passed the law, promised to reimburse them for those subsidized plans, and then they decided no, they weren't going to do that. And the court says, overturned it and says, no, that's not legal to do that. So that's why you got the impact of having those plans being priced at a point where it supports the whole system. So it's kind of an interesting ballpark. Part of what I do is help people look at and understand what it is that they're purchasing, whether they're looking at gold, silver, bronze, whether they're looking at Kaiser or Primera, and the options and Washington Apple Health. In terms of the Medicaid plan, Washington Apple Health, I get actually no reimbursement for that in helping people. The only reimbursement I get is for plans that do pay a commission to me on a monthly basis. But I admit it because that's a administrative position for me. Okay. Now the other thing that's happened since the last talked about it, and some people have heard a lot about it and some haven't, that's what we call health sharing plans. And recently there was an article in the paper about a couple of those getting in trouble in Washington. And it's like most things in a free market society, somebody has a good idea and they do something good with it, and then you get a few shysters along the way that come pick up on it because they figure there's a way of making $1 or $2. The idea of the health sharing plans, which are an exemption under the Affordable Care Act, is that they were based upon religious beliefs and had to be, and you have to certify that you have conformed to those religious beliefs. Some have figured out a way to make that a little bit loose, and that's where they got in trouble with the insurance commission because they couldn't really justify that there was any commonality of belief in the membership of the plans. In the last couple of years, they've actually opened up where they're marketing more through brokers and agents, just like the other insurance plans are. But they're not governed by insurance commission rules at all. There's no governing body that says what they do cover or don't cover. Because the health sharing plan is based upon a mutual membership arrangement and not under insurance code. So you're literally just contributing so much a month based upon the rules of that particular plan, so that if somebody else has a claim or you have a claim, then you're sharing in the cost of that claim. They typically have something that is similar to a deductible. Often it's based on a family level rather than an individual family like insurance plans are. So your family health share will be, say, $5,000, and then after that they share in the cost of what is there. Most of the health sharing plans do not cover the preventative care like insurance companies do. By nature they have to. They also don't cover some other things which are mandated under the laws of an insurance plan. Many of those options and things that they don't cover are based on the fact that they're objectionable by their religious beliefs. So those are some of the things you be cautioned and calm about. Now, the largest one of those is what's called MediShare, and they actually do share over $10 billion a year in medical costs today. They're by far the largest of those medical sharing plans.
Billion, Larry?
Billion. So it's not a small operation. Medical costs, we think of $1 billion, but it really is, that's not a lot of money in medical costs anymore. When you look at, population of that. And that's one of the reasons we don't see a lot of small companies left around anymore. But it's one of the places, because it's not regulated, it created an opportunity for a lot of people to take advantage of it. And so that people have started up and called themselves health sharing plans. And the two that got in trouble here locally with the Washington Insurance Commissioner were two of those. And they did not have a commonality of beliefs. They also didn't have the population or membership actually make much of a sharing exposure. So it's really, in a sense, no different than an insurance company. If you've got a $1 million claim, guess what? You got to have enough people with money going into the system to cover that. And if you just divide $1 million by 100 people, you're a little short, probably. And so that's part of what they kind of got caught in, is part of that and the membership thing. The reason the membership thing was important, because that was the only tick, you might say, that the insurance commissioner had in terms of trying to shut them down. There was nothing else that he could use for that purpose. And so he did that in order to help protect the people, at least of our state. And many other states have followed suit with that. But it's been rather interesting in my perspective when I first started looking at doing them, and they were working with the agents and brokers to help market them and make people aware of it. There were 4 or 5, what I'd say, really good ones, and a couple that looked really shady to me at that time. In the last 2 years, there's better than 30 of them on the market that I see today. Most of them I wouldn't recommend anybody go to. So, it is a laissez-faire system, the health sharing system, so buyer beware. There's very little in the way of legal remedy or protection in that market. But a lot of people like it because, face it, it's, if you're looking at $2,000 to cover an individual versus $800, you're going to think about it, aren't you? And that's the kind of differences I can see oftentimes in an individual, particularly as you get a little older in age. I've got one couple now for a gold plan, they're paying over $2,000 a month for 2 people. That's still with $1,000 deductible and a max out of pocket of $7,500. So it's not it's kind of a goofy market, if you want to call it a market. It's for the tax credit, you do have to go through the Washington Health Plan Finder in the state of Washington, which is the exchange system, and that's where you also have to go in order to get the Medicaid program. So those two are kind of seamless through that. You work into the Medicaid all the way up through the qualified health plans, which are maybe subsidized. You can still get plans through in fact, fortunately, you can still get plans through the exchange even though you don't have subsidy. Because in the case of American Blue Cross, that's the only way they market the plan at all, is through the exchange. You can't go directly to them. Kaiser is the only one directly operates in the individual market or through the exchange, both in our area. And then of course the next step of that is when you get into Medicare, and then you get a whole new world again. In Medicare you have of course the original Medicare, which was passed, A and B, A is your hospital and B is your medical and outpatient expenses. And then more recently they passed Part D of the law, and Part D is your prescription drug coverage. So if you take original Medicare A and B and then add prescription drug coverage, that's where most people look at adding a Medicare supplement plan to help cover some of the co-pays and costs that are not covered under the original Medicare. One of the things a lot of people don't realize, the original Medicare has no stop losses on it. So when they say they cover 80% of what are allowable, that means that's forever. Even with $10 million, they're only going to cover 80%, you're going to cover 20 of it. The other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that in Medicare, if you pass 160 days of hospital care, there is no more coverage in original Medicare. And that's where the Medicare supplements start filling in. And the Medicare supplements are standardized by federal law, but the underwriting and pricing them is all done by state law. So what's available in Washington or Oregon or Idaho can be different because of those state laws and how they price them. In Washington, we use what is called the community system, so no matter what your age is for going into it, you've got one price. There is no difference whether you're healthy or unhealthy, that's it. In the case of Oregon, they use an age rating basis. And so when you enter into the Medicare system at a younger age, you pay a little bit less. As you age, the price goes up. The next part of the Medicare law which passes is Part C, which is for comprehensive medical care plans, which are commonly called Medicare Advantage today. The Medicare Advantage plans are or do become your Medicare coverage if you choose to go that option. They cover the A, the B, and the D. In many cases, they cover additional benefits not covered by Medicare or a Medicare supplement. A Medicare supplement can never cover anything except for what Medicare covers. The only thing they can pick up is strictly the deductible and co-pays of the original Medicare law. They can't add like preventative eye care or preventative dental care or anything like that. Many of the Medicare Advantage plans will actually have benefit for preventative dentistry and for eye care. And many of them today now also offer coverage for hearing aids. Now, probably a few hearing aids around here, but it is a fairly substantial benefit. You can actually get the top level of hearing aids for about a $600 to $800 cost under those plans. Compared to, you probably know the prices better than I do. But I've seen prices anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 generally in that marketplace. People are paying. So it is a very substantial benefit that's been added to the Medicare Advantage plans in that case. They also cover more preventative care and, like I say, eye hardware coverage, well, many of them. They also come in many different flavors, and it varies depending on zip code in that case. So the plans available here are not necessarily available in Cathlima. The ones here are different than in Vancouver. And the ones that are here or not necessarily in Lewis County. In fact, they could actually get right down to it in the Medicare law and Medicare bank plans, they could be different in Kelso and Longview even. That's not the case in this case. But that's how fine in some extent sometimes it gets to be in terms of that. Because it has to be by zip code under the federal law. So if you're on a border of a zip code, it can, like in Woodland, you can be Woodland address, but the zip code is actually Clark County and not Cowles County. So that can make a difference in what's available to you. So with that, I'll just open up to a question or two if anybody has any. Kind of a broad, high level look at the plan. Yes, sir. Marilyn?
Larry, I was just wondering about the MediShare. Who started that? That MediShare?
MediShare, I was is one of the early ones. I won't say the first one because I can't vouch for that one or another. But they're one of the early ones and one of the largest.
Do people understand what that is?
I don't.
Well,
It's called MediShare, but they're health sharing plans.
yeah, they put money in a pot, right? Essentially, they pay into the program.
Every family has a share that they pay in to help cover the cost of everybody.
Right, and it's kind of like a team, so if you're sick, that team pays
Right.
and helps you out.
In truth, they're nothing different than original insurance plans. If you get right down to it. It just, because really there's no difference. It just has to do, one's governed by law, one's not. That's the difference. If you want to get right down to the truth, what is insurance? It's a group of people getting together for things to be covered that they can't cover by themselves. Mike?
Yeah, Larry, I hear the MediShare commercials on the radio all the time.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things they keep stressing is you don't have to pay for procedures you don't believe in.
Right.
How do you get out of that if you're paying a monthly, whatever?
Because those are the benefits that are mandated by law into insurance plans. But since they're not insurance plans, they don't require by law to cover those things. One of the item of example of that would be sex change. Abortions are another one.
Dwayne's got a question.
Who's that?
Dwayne Smith.
Dwayne had a question.
Dwayne?
Dwayne?
There he is. Dwayne? And now that part that he's talking about there is not covered by any of the plans I just talked about.
Okay. You hanging around for
Bill?
Yeah, Larry, since I went from Medicare to Medicaid, my benefit for Viagra has tripled.
Probably because he triples the amount he has to use.
Probably relates to disability.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, so we're going to go up for red tickets. Red and blue tickets. Thanks, Larry. First, we'll start off with desserts. George! Hey, Judy! That sounds good. So we'll start off with a blue ticket, I suppose. And that number is going to be today, 208-4198. Mike. All right. And while they come up here to pull the cards for that, just a kind of reminder, orientation will be July 31st at the shop at 6 o'clock. So those who want to get rid of your red badge, remember that date. Don't forget, Thursday, concert at the lake. And also the fair's coming up, and Bob said that if you want to get signed up and you want to text him, go ahead and send him a text. And if you want his number, I'll give it again. It's 360-355-4575. If that's right, great. So, red ticket is going to be 586048. Judy. Judy's on a roll today. Diabetes. Thank you, Judy. Let's see here. I think that's about it. Thank you.